Chapter 35, 1999. The group of mourners stood together, gazes respectfully fixed on the four pallbearers as they lowered the coffin towards its resting place. Steve held his father's hand as they shared their last moment with his mum. They hugged each other to the soundtrack of soil landing on the coffin lid, allowing themselves a few seconds of peace before accepting the well-meaning condolences and sympathy from the mourners who had gathered in the early summer sunshine. "Where's Greta, son?" Mr. Lewis Sr. realised he hadn't seen Greta and the baby. Steve shrugged and said they couldn't make the trip to Portsmouth for his mum's send-off. There was no way he was going to lumber his grieving dad with the truth. It would cause more hurt than any excuse he could concoct. The truth was that Greta didn't want to come. She had no interest in anything beyond their daughter, Amy, including being a supportive partner to Steve after his mum's premature death. Even though Steve was devastated at the loss of his mum, Greta still refused to come to the funeral. "I don't like funerals. I've never been comfortable around death, and besides, I only met your mum once." Steve had quite literally begged her to make the journey with him, but she had not even tried to find an excuse, and that included using Amy as part of her justification. They both knew that their daughter was no trouble at all, still so young that she slept most of the time. Compared to many infant horror stories they'd been privy to, Amy was a dream baby. "There were plenty of chances to meet and get to know her, Greta. You chose not to take them. Anyway, this is not about you or my mum, it's about me, standing in front of you, pleading for you to come." "What about me? Do I mean that little to you?" "Don't be so fucking needy, Steve. Grow up. I'm not coming. I'll stay here with Amy and be here when you get back." Part of him wanted to take Amy and stay a while with his dad in Southsea. He was in a relationship with a woman who couldn't support the father of her daughter at such a sad time. His simple search for love and support met with repudiation, and it confirmed everything he knew about their relationship. There was nothing there. There had never been. Steve had left his dad waiting for a better answer for long enough. Amy had a bad night's sleep, and Greta's been up with her for what feels like days. It's nothing. It's just a bit of colic. You know how babies are. She sends her love, though. "Now, am I jumping in with you, back to the wake?" Steve could tell that Lewis Sr. didn't buy it, but now was not the time. If it wasn't for the handful of photos with her and Amy, Greta would seem like an invention of Steve's mind. His mum had been suddenly struck down by a serious illness, and so, for the last couple of months, his parents couldn't be a part of their family life in London. The devastating illness had taken his mum before she even knew their granddaughter, and Steve blamed Greta for that. Greta had no interest in them. She didn't even seem interested in Steve most of the time. It was disjointed, and for grandparents wanting a relationship with their granddaughter and, de facto, their daughter-in-law, it was heartbreaking that no effort was made. Steve had done his best bringing Amy down several times as the end neared, but Greta never came, and he'd always come to them straight from a flight back from somewhere far-flung, meaning he was typically rushed and exhausted. Even at his weakest points, Steve always had an excuse to hand about why something had come up preventing Greta from accompanying them. He tried to protect them from the truth. "There will always be space in my car for you, son. I love you. You know how proud your mum and I are of the man you've become and what you've achieved. Now come on, you can tell me about how Amy's doing. Are those teeth still coming through?" Steve grabbed his old man in a bear hug. It was not just the loss of his mum that had put him on the edge of tears. Something had to give. Greta was never going to change, and therefore nothing would change at home unless he took the lead. She never appeared happy with their dynamic either, but didn't seem prepared to do anything about it. Now, with a small child to take care of, she suggested that things were just fine, and for now, she was okay with how things were. Happiness with her partner did not seem to be a massive priority. Father and son took their seats in the middle of the limousine. Neither of them had the words to make any conversation a better replacement for the few moments of calm. Steve had tried and failed to improve the domestic balance. He needed to figure out what he was going to do, and as soon as he got back from the next trip, he would try to address it. Again.